Hey there people, it's your favorite WeedleTwineedle bringing you guys another Ultra Sun and Moon, yeah right. Now we're playing Sword and Shield today, and we're actually utilizing a strategy that absolutely dicked on me in one of my older Ultra Sun and Moon videos. Some of you guys might remember physical Ninetales one-shot a Toxapex that I used in one of my older videos, and after that happened to me, I asked in that video, should I use a strategy similar to that in a future video? And over 2 years later, here we are using a physical Ninetales team. So as you can see, we got Klefki, Charizard, Ninetales for the Sun Core, Starmie for support, Cherrim obviously because physical Ninetales isn't shit without Cherrim, and then we have Type Null, who doesn't really fit on this team at all, but I just felt like he's in Type Null. And as you can see, my first opponent today is actually packing Sage and Parks, a Drifloon team. And if you guys haven't seen Sage and Parks' Drifloon team, it's actually really well built and super cool, so you're in for a treat if you don't know what it does. But without further ado, let's get into this first battle against Haruki. Okay, so we're challenged by Haruki, who has a pretty cool trainer card I won't front. Meanwhile, I haven't changed my trainer card in like 6+ months, and I've been wearing the Trans Rights outfit for even longer than that, so it probably smells super bad, but I love the Trans Rights outfit, and I love my trainer card in general. A lot of people really like my trainer card too, so I don't know, I figure why change it when people like it. So my opponent's gonna lead off with the Drifloon and the Raichus. I lead off with my Starmie and my Ninetales, and both me and my opponent have a very similar game plan turn one. I'm gonna set up the Sun with my Ninetales, of course, because not running Drought on Ninetales is kind of cringe. And here, we're going to Dynamax our Ninetales turn one, and instead of showing you guys the Dynamax animations for every single battle in this video, I decided to cut the Dynamax animations down so you guys don't have to sit through the cutscene in every battle. So both me and my opponent Dynamax turn one with Drifloon and Ninetales turn one, as you'll see. But yeah, we're gonna go for flip turn into my Ninetales with the Starmie, and we're going to activate our weakness policy, giving us increased attack, which is very nice. And here's where the synergy with the flip turn comes in, because we're able to bring in the Cherrim here and get additional attack from the Flower Gift. So you get +2 attack from weakness policy, 1.5 times attack from Flower Gift, and you get the stab max flare. It's delicious. But here my opponent's going to go for the brutal swing, and he's going to activate the Drifloon's weakness policy as well. And thanks to the unburden ability, now Drifloon will outspeed my Ninetales, and unfortunately will be able to get an attack off here before I can nuke it into the ground. And Max Phantasm here thankfully does not count. We're able to live thanks to the Flower Gift special defense boost, because Flower Gift boosts attack and special defense, which is why it synergizes very nicely with the Ninetales, because Dynamax gives you more bulk, of course. Here, Max Flare +2 attack with the Flower Gift is going to KO Drifloon. And Drifloon's bulk with Dynamax is very impressive considering it's double HP, and I believe Sage built his Drifloon to be very bulky, so the fact we're able to KO that Drifloon is very nice for us. And here my opponent's going to bring out the Arcanine, which is not what I wanted to see, because Arcanine is kind of a bad matchup for this team considering we're mostly a Sun team. And this Arcanine is actually Assault Vested, so it's Intimidate, which lowers my Ninetales damage, and then the Assault Vest against my special attackers really can't do much to it either, so not really the matchup I really like with this team, but hey. We're going to try and work with what we got. So here I'm actually going to switch out my Cherrim and bring in my Starmie and go for Max Guard, because this is where the synergy with Sage's team is kind of insane, because my opponent, of course, is like an offensive Assault Vest Arcanine, so Extreme Speed is going to be doing good damage, and Volt Tackle as well. My opponent has Volt Tackle on the Raichu, or Sage didn't put Volt Tackle on the Raichu because with the defense drops from Drifloon Max Phantasm, the Volt Tackle does a bunch of damage, and here I'm actually going to try to get some speed control. Go for the Icy Wind so Ninetales can outspeed the Raichu, but my opponent makes a very solid play, goes for the Protect on Raichu. I didn't even realize Raichu carried Protect, so that was a really good Protect on my opponent's behalf. I probably should have searched up Sage's team when I saw my opponent had Sage's team, but I decided to just go off memory, and unfortunately that kind of bites me in the butt, as here Max Quick will not be doing too much damage to Raichu thanks to the Protect, and my opponent's going to actually hit me with their own speed control here. They're going to go for the Bulldoze. So thanks to the -1 defense from the Max Phantasm, this Bulldoze, even though it's spread damage, is still going to be doing a lot of damage to my Ninetales. And now because of the speed drops, this is really bad for me, because now Starmie is slower than Raichu, and I will not be able to go for the Icy Wind to slow down my opponent's Raichu and KO it with Ninetales, so this is really bad for me, and I decided to actually conserve my Ninetales here and sack off my Cherrim, predicting my opponent to, of course, go for Volt Tackle into my Ninetales slot. So, gonna bring in Cherrim here as Death Fodder, because now that Ninetales is pretty much dead weight, now Cherrim is dead weight because it's my physical attacker gone. So here, E-Speed's not going to KO my Starmie, but Volt Tackle will knock out my Cherrim, but that is fine. It is a sacrifice we had to make. so we can get a safe pivot into my last mon. So down goes my Cherrim here, as now I'm going to try to get some speed control, my last ditch speed control with the Icy Wind. Thankfully we're able to connect Icy Wind against both my opponent's Pokemon, and Icy Wind's going to do very little damage because my Starmie is mostly bulky. It's like max speed, max HP. Okay, we're going to lower the Arcanine speed, lower Raichu speed, so hopefully my late game Charizard can clean up. Though my opponent has a Selfless Arcanine, so Charizard's not going to be doing too much damage to my opponent's Arcanine, and Extreme Speed here will knock out my Starmie, but that is fine because hopefully we connect the Heat Wave and KO the Raichu so I can't kill me with Volt Tackle, as thankfully we're able to connect Heat Wave against both Mons, knock out the Raichu, and Arcanine takes very little damage because of the Assault Vest. Even with the Solar Power and the Life Orb, Arcanine just takes so little damage from the Heat Wave. Oh, sorry, I gotta bring in my 69 HP Ninetales to heat, so I forgot to cut that out. But here, we're gonna bring out the Ninetales, as my opponent's last mon is actually Decidueye, and Decidueye has Shadow Sneak on my opponent's team to self-proc the Drifloon's weakness policy as well, so more synergy with Sajin's team. Sajin's just like a mastermind. He has the mind of a mastermind. His team building is actually so good. He's actually like good at the game and good at team building, and can use memes. Like he can use memes and actually be good at the game, unlike me. But hey, my opponent's gonna hit me with a double priority, knock out my Ninetales because he got like so scared of it. But the real threat here is the Charizard and the Sun with lower power Heat Waves, able to obviously obliterate the Decidueye, and we actually get a pretty lucky crit on the Arcanine, which I don't think matters because unless like I missed every Heat Wave afterwards, I should be able to win late game with Heat Wave. So down goes my opponent's Arcanine and Decidueye, and we're able to defeat our opponent with Charizard late game after Physical Ninetales kind of did a little bit of work. I didn't do too much because my opponent had the defense dropped and was able to KO me, and you know, he had speed control, so that was a pretty close battle for our first game. And let's move on to the next battle. Okay, my next opponent, Tail, has a very scary team for us to deal with, mainly just the Tailwind and the Colossal. Colossal is like an auto win versus my team because considering my team revolves around fire types, and Colossal just kind of like quad resist fire moves, and then Volcalith just like eats fire types asses. Like, yeah, this matchup's not very good for us, but my opponent's Tail is a pretty cool team. You have some interesting picks there like Tauros and a low Ninetales, so a pretty cool team on my opponent's part. But without further ado, let's get into this battle against Tail. Alrighty, so we're challenged by Tail, who has 724 as the trainer card number, so maybe it has like a meaning behind it. Maybe that's like their favorite Pokemon's Nat Dex number, whatever Pokemon that is. But yeah, I like trainer card numbers like that because you think to yourself like, I wonder what the meaning behind the trainer card is on like 420 or 69, which is like funny. I know my number is 666, but the meaning behind that is Sword and Shield stole my soul away, so yeah, that's my excuse. I know it doesn't make it any much better, but like that's why my number is 666. I probably would have made it like Incineroar's Nat Dex number or something had I known about the craze of making it like your favorite Pokemon's trainer card, or you made your trainer card number your favorite Pokemon's Nat Dex number. But yeah, we're both gonna Dynamax turn 1. They lead off with Tauros Colossal, so we already know they're gonna go for some Surf crap because like that's what Colossal players do. Like what else are they gonna do? Like Earthquake to self-proc the weakness policy? But yeah, they're gonna Dynamax turn 1. We're gonna skip the Dynamax animation. So we both Dynamax turn 1. My opponent's gonna try to go for the Surf, but I was like, not on my watch. I switcheroo, give the Colossal the eject button, and my opponent's gonna go for the Surf, and he's going to give himself the Steam Engine, but it is a little bit too late for that because he's also going to activate our weakness policy with the Surf, doing very minimal damage thanks to the Sun as well, and he's gonna proc the eject button. He's gonna push the button. Bye bye. And Colossal's gonna be forced out of here. Consumes the Dynamax turn 1, which is really good, and we still have our Dynamax. My opponent's gonna bring out the Rotom Wash. Keep in mind we got Intimidated turn 1, so this is only +1 attack max flare without Cherrim. I am Adamant Nature, keep in mind, because I want Ninetales to get as much attack boost as possible, because even with like all that Flower Gift +2 attack, stab, Sun stuff, it really just doesn't quite cut it with Jolly Nature. So I'm actually adamant on this Ninetales, which will come into play in a future battle, as you'll see. But we're actually going to switch route into my Ninetales, give us a weakness policy. My opponent's going to go for a Tail Whip. Tail has Tail Whip on the Tauros, which is pretty funny. I just realized that now that my opponent's in-game name is Tail, but they have Tail Whip as on like the Tauros, which is pretty funny. But here we're going to max flare into the Tauros. They probably thought I'd max flare into Rotom again so we can get like a free Steam Engine boost. However, I wanted the Rotom to activate the weakness policy, so I go for the attack into Tauros instead. And yeah, we're able to knock out Tauros, and my opponent's going to bring out their Rotom again, I do believe, and then instead of giving me the second weakness policy proc I was fishing for, they unfortunately forfeit because they realized, they're like, wow, I got cheesed by Klefki. Klefki switcheroo eject button is just like so dishonest, but it's the only way of dealing with Colossal on this team, so I don't know what. that's just how we do it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that colossal destruction. Let's move on to the next battle. Alrighty, my next opponent today, Tony, has a very scary team for us to deal with. Mainly the Goodra and Gmax Lapras and the Arcanine. The Arcanine and Lapras combination is scary just because, like, Intimidate will make it so that my Max Flare, even with Flower Gift and +1 attack, due to the Intimidate, will not knock out the Lapras, and Lapras will get up the screens or get rid of my son with Max Geyser. So overall, not the best matchup for me, but without further ado, let's get into this battle against Tony. Alright, so both me and my opponent here have the same trainer card numbers. Maybe Sword and Shield both took our souls away, I don't know, but we had a heart-to-heart moment here when we both saw we had the 666 trainer card. I wonder if that's how like the 420 trainer card users feel when they see another 420. They're like, you're me, I'm you. I don't know. My opponent's gonna lead off with Primarina and Goodra, both legit Chinese, of course. I'm gonna lead off with my Starmie and my Ninetales. So turn 1, of course, I'm gonna go for the Brain Dead Dynamax because that's what this entire team is based around. It's just Dynamaxing Ninetales. So yeah, in most battles, you're gonna see me Dynamax Ninetales. I'm gonna go for a flip turn here into my Ninetales, of course. And because this is like best of 1, I'm pretty much always gonna be trying to get the Ninetales because this is what the video is based around, right? Other games though, I have tried to use Type Null and just like Dynamax Charizard and stuff, but like, I don't know. I just wanted to use Ninetales, so you're gonna see me using Dynamax Ninetales a lot in this video. They were gonna actually, you know, bring in the Flower Gift Pokemon, bring in the Cherrim, get the increased attack, and my opponent chooses not to Dynamax turn 1, which is kind of surprising. I thought for sure that one of those Pokemon were Dynamaxing, but instead, they let me get the kill on Goodra, which is really good considering Goodra kind of shits on Sun Team, so I'm very happy with that trade. We're able to knock out the Goodra, and we're gonna get a special defense increase, so with Flower Gift and the Max Quick special defense boost, my opponent's Primarina won't be doing any damage to me with the Moonblast. It still does a decent chunk of damage, despite the fact we have Flower Gift and +1 special defense. Maybe he's like Specs Primarina, who knows. But here my opponent's gonna bring out the Urshifu, and I'm like, okay, well I could just knock out this Primarina here. And here my opponent's gonna Dynamax. I forgot to cut off this animation. I'm sorry guys, you gotta sit through this cutscene. So I'm like, okay, not a big deal. I could just KO this Primarina even though it's Dynamaxing. But then we see it's Urshifu, so I'm like, that is, ooh, Daddy's Dynamax, and that's what I like to see. So he's gonna Dynamax this Urshifu, and I'm like, okay, it's not too big of a deal because I'm gonna kill this Primarina anyways, and I should be faster because like Ninetales is base 100 speed. But here you'll see that I'm actually, the Adamant Nature kind of screws me over because here I get outsped. He's gonna hit me with the Max Rock Ball and get rid of my Weather, which is really bad because that means obviously I lose my Sun Fire type boost, but we also lose the Flower Gift with Cherrim. So the Max Rockfall, I just didn't expect that on Urshifu in general. Most Urshifus just carry like Wicked Blow, Sucker Punch, CC, Detect. I was not expecting the Rockfall. And here I go for Steel Spike into the Primarina, even though like Wicked Blow ignores defense increase. I'm just gonna go for Steel Spike anyways to get a defense increase, just because it might help me out. But yeah, as you can see, this kind of bit me in the butt because my opponent decides to Dynamax the Urshifu, which was a really good play on their part because they're able to get rid of my Sun, and they outspeed my Ninetales here, so this kind of backfired, and now my Ninetales is pretty much dead weight. But here my opponent's going to bring out the Lapras, that's their last Mon, and I'm like, well, Ninetales, you're pretty much just, you're dead. You're dead, buddy. So here he's going to Rockfall me, and my poor Ninetales is going to get knocked out. I could have went for Max Guard there. I could have, but I decided to just let him kill my Ninetales because I had a game plan on the back. I had like a backup plan. So down goes my Ninetales. But here my Cherrim is going to go for the Sunny Day. So we're able to set up the Sun again, which is really good for us. We're going to get our Flower Gift back, which isn't too important because I don't have any physical attackers on the back. However, they'll give us increased special defense and just help. Gonna get the Flower Gift back up, and here my opponent's gonna go for the Freeze Dry, but thanks to our +1 special defense and the Flower Gift, we were able to tank it really well. It did less than the Primarina's Moonblast, so that's why I think the Primarina might be choice specs. I could be wrong though, but here we're gonna bring out the Charizard, and Charizard's in the Sun, and I'm just like, well, I don't know what, I'm just gonna go for the Helping Hand, because Helping Hand, Solar Power, Stab, Sun Boosted Heat Wave should KO the Urshifu unless it's Assault Vested, and thankfully we're able to get a double KO here against the Lapras and the Urshifu. And Charizard is able to Lake Game Clean yet again, so I know this team is based around Ninetales, but Charizard's definitely clutch on Sun teams because it just does so much damage with the Solar Power and Heat Wave and stuff like that. So we're able to defeat Tony thanks to Charizard late game. And yeah, even though my opponent got Weather Control, we were able to maintain it with Cherrim, so that was why I showcased this battle. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that battle, and let's move on to the next battle. Alrighty, our next opponent today, Ivan, has a very scary team. Porygon Z in general is just like such a scary Pokemon to deal with in Series 6. Alongside Urshifu is just super scary. They also have Charizard to take advantage of my son, and Tally, which is pretty cool to see, and Sylveon Dustclap. So that's a pretty cool team, but without further ado, let's get into this battle against Ivan. Alright, so we're challenged by Ivan, who has a pretty interesting trainer card, 323. I wonder what the backstory behind that number is. I always like think about that when I see the trainer card numbers. I don't know why. It's just a weird thing to think about. But we're actually in a pretty cool purple stadium here. I forgot what town this is for, or this is from, but my opponent's going to lead off with Sylveon and Inteleon, both on Pokemon. As I'm going to be leading off with my Starmie and Ninetales every game. You already know. And you already know we're both going to do turn 1. We're both going to click the dynamax button. So we're going to set up the sun here, and we're both going to dynamax, and I'm going to go for the flip turn into my Ninetales. We're of course going to proc the weakness policy. This should be doing slightly less damage, but unfortunately because my Starmie doesn't have a 0 attack IV, it is a Starmie I bred in game, so unfortunately the attack IV was not 0, it was just an egg I hatched, so flip turn's doing slightly more damage than I'd like. But I'm going to bring out my Cherrim here. Of course, you can see all of my Pokemon on my team here are support, so I'm pretty much throwing all of my faith into Ninetales in this battle. So we're going to bring in Cherrim here, set up the Flower Gift, so now our Ninetales is very bulky on the special side. And here, Ninetales outspeeds Inteleon. I thought maybe like Inteleon was modest or something, but then Ninetales outsped it, so I'm like, what is this Inteleon spread? Why is it so slow? And how did it live at +2 attack Flower Gift boosted Max Quake? This Inteleon's EVs are really whack to me. I don't know what this EV spread is, but I was pretty sure Max Quake would KO it, but maybe he's like max HP, max special attack or something. I don't know, maybe he's like AV Inteleon? Like, I have no idea what this Inteleon set is, but he's able to live, go for the max Airstream, which does very little damage thanks to the Koa Berry and Flower Gift, and max Quake boost as a Hyper Voice is going to do very little damage to Ninetales and Cherrim as well. And thanks to the Airstream boost, he's able to outspeed me here, go for another Airstream as we're able to easily snack it because of all those boosts from Max Quick and Flower Gift. It makes you super bulky on the special defensive side, which is really good because a lot of the scary Dynamax Pokemon are special attackers in this format. But here, Mystical Fire is going to hit my Cherrim as we should be able to live this, but unfortunately, we do get crit, which is kind of unfortunate. It doesn't make too big of a difference because Cherrim would have just barely lived that anyways, but losing Cherrim there with crit was pretty demoralizing. But here, Max Flare into the Inteleon should knock it out. I went for Max Flare just in case he went for the Max Geyser to get rid of my son, so that's why we went for Max Flare into a water type. But yeah, down goes the Inteleon there to the Max Flare, which is good for me. As here my opponent's going to send out the Porygon Z, which is pretty surprising he brought this considering most Porygon Z players will Dynamax it as opposed to leaving it late game as like a non-DMAX Pokemon. But yeah, here we're going to bring Klefki, and I tried to go for Thunder Wave into the Porygon Z because I knew it would outspeed me because of the fact that I'm adamant Ninetales. But I go for Thunder Wave. Unfortunately, he carries Protect on the Porygon Z, which I wasn't expecting. Most Porygon Zs don't really carry Protect from what I've seen, but yeah, that's kind of surprised me here. Mystical Fire is going to do a lot of damage to my Klefki. But we're able to live it just barely, and we're going to push the button and get me out of here, which kind of sucks, but I'm able to bring in my Starmie here, which does have dual screens and Icy Wind, so it's not like the support is fully useless. I can set up screens to help me take attacks better. I can Icy Wind to lower speed, so having Starmie out here isn't too big of a deal. And here Max Flare is going to just eviscerate the Sylveon. I was sick of this thing outspeeding me because of those Airstream boosts, so we're just able to knock out the Sylveon there with Max Flare, which is good for me. And here, my Dynamax is going to wear off, which is pretty bad. Oh, he's going to send out a Pokemon first. I forgot to cut this out, sorry. But he's going to bring out the Charizard here, and now my Dynamax will wear off. So I'm like, okay, I can just go for Icy Wind here and just KO something with the Flare Blitz. So I'm just going to go for that. I'm going to go for the Icy Wind here, and I miss both targets. Keep in mind, Icy Wind is 95% accuracy. My opponent's going to hit me with a Thunderbolt. We're able to live. Buddy paralyzes me, 10% chance right there, so 5% chance misses and a 10% chance to get paralyzed. I'm going to go for Flare Blitz here into the Charizard. I really thought I would knock him out, but without the Flower Gift, it's able to just barely live it, unfortunately. And here, my opponent's going to hit a Hurricane in the Sun. That is 50% accuracy, so keep in mind all the odds here. 5% chance to miss both moves. As you can see, I even saved the clip. I'm like, I got hacked so hard here. I wanted to vent about it on Twitter. I got so salty. I was like so mad. I missed Icy Wind, and he hit a Sun Boosted Hurricane, and he got paralyzed. And here I go for Thunder Wave into Charizard as opposed to Porygon Z because I thought the Porygon Z would protect, expecting me to target into the PZ. But my opponent makes a smart play, goes for the Hyper Beam, into my Ninetales, and without the flower gifts, I'm just gonna get obliterated. And at this point, I was just so tilted from all of the hacks that happened in the previous turn that I wasn't really using my brain. I probably should have Thunder Waves into the Porygon Z because Charizard couldn't really KO Ninetales unless he hit a Hurricane in the sun. But I was just like, I'm over this game. So yes, a PokeTuber is posting a loss.
Those words. Is it possible to use them in a sentence together like
I
that?
know, shocker. We're gonna lose to Ivan, and we got hacked really hard, so hopefully you guys enjoyed my suffering. Let's move on to the next battle. So for these last two battles, I actually changed a few things about my team. One thing I changed was Klefki. I switched it out for Clefable because I wanted Clefable on this team because I caught the shiny Clefable in the max raid event. They were doing like a shiny Clefable like 2% encounter thing. It was like a few weeks ago, it might even be a month ago at this point, I don't know. But I caught the shiny Clefable. I just wanted to use it in VGC. But yeah, we also changed the Ninetales nature to Jolly nature as opposed to Adamant because after that Urshifu rockfalled me, I was like, okay, maybe I should run Jolly nature, especially after the last game as well. Jolly Ninetales would have Porygon Z, so I decided to just give Ninetales to Jollymint because I really wanted the raw attack power from Adamant, but clearly the speed is very, very important. But yeah, that was the adjustments I made to this team. And my opponent's team in this battle is also a Sun team, and his team is pretty cool. He has like Heliolisk and like Charizard Virizion. So I know Charizard usually carries Scarf Beat Up with Virizion on these sort of teams. Without further ado, let's get into this battle against Xander. Alright, so we're challenged by Xander, and the only thing I could think about is Fire Emblem Fates because I'm obsessed with that Fire Emblem game, even though it's pretty garbage to most people. That's where Satsuna came from, and Satsuna's my love, so like I just love Fates. It has a special place in my heart. But yeah, my opponent's gonna lead off with Comfey and Gudra, a very typical like combo in VGC, as I'm gonna lead off with my Ninetales and Starmie. So turn one, we're both get a Dynamax. There's no need to show the full animation here. We're gonna Dynamax Ninetales, and I believe I showed the Gudra Dynamax animation just because the Dynamax Gudra cry is so funny. So my opponent's gonna Dynamax the Gudra, and the cry is just so funny. It's just like... I just love the Dynamax Gudra cry. I don't know why. But I expected Giga Drain from my opponent, but instead they go for Draining Kiss. So he's actually a weakness policy on the Gudra. I was expecting Sap Sipper with Giga Drain and Assault Vest, but instead they're actually weakness policy, which wasn't what I was expecting. Here I'm going to go for the Flip Turn and to Ninetales. Of course. You guys have seen this combo like 20 times already in this video. I'm going to proc the weakness policy. I understand self-drop weakness policy isn't very original, but I figure like Flip Turn into Cherrim with like physical Ninetales, like that has to be somewhat heat, right? Like come on now. Give me some credit. Trying to innovate in this VGC meta is hard, okay? So I'm gonna bring in Cherrim here, set up the Flower Gift, and with +2 attack and Flower Gift, I'm like, okay, this Max Flare is going to melt this Gudra. Like this is going to actually melt. But the Gudra just eats. The Gudra eats it up, and I'm like, what? How did it eat it up so well? I was just surprised because I'm like, Max Flare does more damage than Max Quake because due to the Sun plus Stab. But here's gonna hit me with the Steel. No, hit me with the Max Quake instead. Because he was like, Ninetales isn't a threat to me. I'm Gudra, but no. Ninetales is a huge threat. So thankfully he targets into the Starmie slot as opposed to the Ninetales. I guess he thought Starmie was a bigger threat in that scenario, but Starmie puts on offensive pressure. People don't really expect the Flip Turn stuff, which is pretty fun because like no one really expects like Flip Turn to Ninetales. What the hell? Why would you use Ninetales like offensively? But yeah, we're gonna go for Helping Hand here because I expected my opponent to go for the Floral Healing into the Gudra, so we're able to get that read correctly because I didn't think a Max Quake or Max Flare on its own would KO if he goes for Floral Healing. So thankfully, we made the right call. Go for the Helping Hand boosted +2 attack, Flower Gift boosted Max Quake, and Gudra is gonna get knocked out. So we're able to knock out my opponent's Gudra. That's really good for us because Gudra kind of like shit stomps this team, especially since, as you'll see, my opponent is like a physical Gudra with like Rock Slide and stuff like that. So getting rid of that is really good for me because that Gudra would have shit stomped me pretty hard. But here my opponent is going to just, I forgot to cut this out, I apologize. He's going to bring out the Heliolisk, which is probably like Solar Power. And he's going to actually forfeit because they realize, like, I lost my Gudra, I lost the game. So we're able to defeat our opponent. We're able to defeat Gudra with Ninetales, which is, like, hilarious because Gudra is used to counter Sun. And here, let me show you guys something. Here, my opponent, let me see their team, and you can see he's Impish, Max Defense, Max Attack Gudra. It says Adamant Nature, but as you can see in the stat screen, it has plus defense, max special attack. He was Impish Nature, max defense, and that's how he ate up that Max Flare. If he wasn't Impish, if he was just like max HP, or maybe he would have lived it, but like max defense Gudra, and we still like demolished it. Like that's hilarious. Literally a hard counter to Sun, yet Ninetales just ate it up. she just ate it up. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed that battle, and let's move on to the last battle. Alright guys, I saved the best battle for last right here. So my final opponent today, Jackie, has a pretty scary team for us to deal with. Arcanine is a bad matchup like I mentioned earlier, but Terrakion, I saw Terrakion, I'm like, welp. It is an auto loss, especially alongside stuff like Lapras and like a Mungus the redirection. I'm like, this game is over, but I'm like, maybe they won't bring a Mungus because I have like 2 fire types. So yeah, that is the matchup, and let's just get into this final battle against Jackie. Alrighty, so as you can see here, Jackie has the 69 trainer card number.
Can I get the number 69?
We love that, but I can't say anything. I'm 666. I know. A lot of people comment on that. Every time I mention someone's trainer card number being unoriginal, people are like, Weedle, you can't say shit. And I'm like, you right, my bad. My opponent's gonna be off with Rapigator and Terrakion. I did off with my Starmie and Ninetales. So this first turn, I actually make a different play. Instead of flip turning into myself, I kind of like actually think. So I googled like before I picked my move turn 1, I'm like, does Rapigator or Crocodile learn beat up? And it does learn beat up. So I'm like, okay, my opponent might be Scarf Terrakion or Scarf on the Crocodiles. It hit Terrakion with the beat up. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to make a Gigantamax brain play, and it might backfire, but I'm going to just try my best. So my opponent's going to hit himself with the beat up. We're going to skip this cutscene right here. Show you guys, you're just going to get +4 attack from the beat up. The beat up animation takes so long. If you guys haven't seen it in game, be grateful because it takes so long for the Dynamax Pokemon to get the 4 Justified boost. But here, gonna hit my opponent with an Icy one so we can actually outspeed them with Ninetales and Charizard in the back. And because it's Crocodile Scarf, I kind of need to lower that speed. And here I reveal I'm Power Swap on Ninetales.
Thank you so much!
Well, I originally had Protect, but once I made the changes with Clefable and making Ninetales Jolly on this team, I actually decided to give it Power Swap for actual like synergy between Charizard and Clefable. I can Power Swap like the +2 special attack and weakness policy onto them in case, you know, Ninetales flops. That was like my idea behind this, because you still get Max Guard while you're Dynamax, and since you're Dynamax and Ninetales every game anyways, I figure removing Protect isn't too big of a deal, and it came in clutch versus this beat up. And thankfully they rockfalled into Starmie as opposed to Ninetales because they realized like Ninetales is not really a threat because they have 2 mons that can kill it, but Starmie is a water type, so they're like, Starmie's a bigger threat. But they underestimated our boy Ninetales, or our girl Ninetales. And here we're gonna Dynamax our Ninetales. Oh, I forgot to cut out this animation, but it's fine. You guys get to see the sick looking fastball which Ninetales is in. And we're gonna Dynamax our Ninetales here. And he actually makes an Arcanine, so we're only at +3 attack due to the Intimidate. However, I was just like, I'm at +3 attack, but I was at +4, but I'm like, I think I need a little more. So I go for flip turn into my Ninetales. Of course, we're going to activate our weakness policy. And because of the Icy Wind drop, we'll be able to outspeed the Terrakion and hopefully KO it with the Steel Spike or Max Wake. Here I flip turn out, and you can see my back Pokemon. I have Clefable and Charizard. I actually did not even bring Cherrim in this game. I thought, like, because they're probably going to Dynamax their Terrakion, that Sun, or like, Cherrim just wasn't very good in this game. I don't know. I just decided not to bring Cherrim for once because I'm like, redirection might be more useful, and honestly, Clefable kind of carries its weight in this battle. As Steel Spike's going to one-shot Terrakion, and I'm like, okay, we win, GG, because like we have +5 attack Ninetales right now, and we have a redirection user next to it, so like, it's over. But my opponent actually surprises me. Like, my opponent's like, I thought this game was automatically over. My opponent is, they make some pretty good plays. You'll see. So, I forgot to cut out the waiting animation here. I'm sorry. Trying to cut like 30 minutes worth of battles is kind of draining, not gonna lie. I mean, it's just simple cropping, but it's still just like draining. I wish we had the VS recorder, man. I really do, but whatever. Game Freak's amazing. We love Game Freak. Maybe in Crown Tundra. Maybe. I doubt it, but maybe. My opponent's going to go for Protect here with the Arcanine. I was expecting my opponent to not have Protect on Arcanine, but whatever. Gonna go for the a lot of people will be scared here on the Clefable. And my opponent's actually revealed to be Earthquake on the Rapigator. I was expecting high horsepower, but Earthquake does make sense because in case they do lead off with like Follow Me versus a beat up mon, they can go for the Earthquake, and if Terrakion's weakness policy, they can still have Terrakion pop off. So the Earthquake actually makes a lot of sense. I probably should have seen it coming in hindsight, but you know, hindsight's 2020, and I'm not the perfect player. A lot of people think I am because I make such flashy plays with my meme teams, but the reality is that I make a lot of mistakes. And usually one mistake with my kind of teams is an auto loss, so that's why like most of the battles you see where I win are like super duper flex games because I have to make every play correct or else I lose. That's just the That's just how my teams work. Though I do think this flip turn Ninetales team isn't that bad. Like, it's a meme, right? Like, it's physical Ninetales, but honestly, it's better than most of the stuff I've used in my Showdown videos, at least. That's for sure. But here, Earthquake's just gonna barely live that Earthquake, and now Max Flare's going to just knock out the Rabigator. I realized the Rabigator was a huge threat, and I actually didn't go for Follow Me there because I figured that my opponent's gonna go for like Snarl or Heat Wave as opposed to going for the, you know, I figured I can't redirect their attack, so I might as well go for Moonlight here. With the Sun for Max Flare, I'm actually gonna heal way more, so that's like some pretty cool synergy between Clefable and just having a Sun team in general. You can run Moonlight, and Clefable puts on some decent offensive pressure with Moonblast and stuff like that, so Clefable actually has like a niche on this team over Clefairy, and since I use Clefairy on like all my VGC teams already, I'm like, may as well just use the shiny Clefable because I really wanted to, and you guys are probably sick of seeing me use Clefairy, so here we are, standing Clefable, though I'm sure most players are so sick of Clefable, but Clefable in VGC is kind of cool. I like Clefable in VGC. But here, I'm going to go for Power Swap into my Clefable because my Dynamax ends. So I'm like, well, I don't know what. Instead of going for Flare Blitz into the Lapras, I figured they might protect or something. So instead, I go for the Power Swap into my Clefable instead to give it special attack boosts because like I have Dig and Iron Tail. So I'm like, nah, I'm just going to give Clefable the +2 special attack because Power Swap already popped off. I just want to use Power Swap again. Show you guys the synergy, which I meant, like I didn't intend to Power Swap and face against beat up. It just happened to be like, hey, I can do this play and it actually worked out. So I don't know what. Power Swap on the Ninetales came in clutch, and now my Clefable's +2 special attack Moonblast annihilates the Lapras, and now I'm gonna bring out my Starmie here. I forgot to cut that out. I apologize. And my opponent's gonna wait, he only has one Pokemon left. Whoops. But here we're gonna reflect right here because the Arcanite's in the sun and it has Flare Blitz, so I don't want to like risk anything. And the Flare Blitz, even with Reflect, still does a lot of damage, so I'm glad I set out the Reflect as he's going to burn me, but because we're Magic Guard, it doesn't really matter that much. And now I'm gonna go for the Moonlight here instead of going for Moonblast because I'm like, well, I don't know what. I just want to see how much I can heal because like Moonlight healing and the sun is just so satisfying. Like, look at that heal. And now I'm gonna go for Flip Turn into the Arcanine just because I'm like, well, Icy Wind's gonna do no damage, and Light Screening versus Arcanine that's physical, not really worth it. So I'm gonna Flip Turn out into my Charizard, and in case Clefable flops, I have just Charizard to clean this up. And here Flare Blitz is going to hit into my Clefable, and we're able to live it decently well. And now I can just go for the Moonblast and knock out the Arcanine. So my Clefable is actually max HP, max special attack. But that's just why it's taking so much damage from the Flare Blitz. But I am Focus Sash on my Clefable because it's like meant to be like more offensive, you know what I mean? This battle was pretty one-sided, but the Scarf Rabigator with the Earthquake, like honestly my opponent almost brought that back. Like, to be honest, like the battle was closer than I thought it would be, but I felt like I had to showcase this battle because I power swapped a beat up. Like, I punished a beat up. Like I told you guys, I saved the best battle for last. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this physical Ninetales showcase video. I kept my promise. It took over 2 years, but here we are using physical Ninetales, and here's the rental code. I'm sorry guys, I didn't use Type Null. Type Null on this team just like didn't work for me. I don't know what it was. I think with the adjustment with Clefable, you can do like Follow Me plus like Sword Stance set up with the Type Null, and then you can, you know, bring out Cherrim, set up the Sunny Day to give it Flower Gift and give it increased attack and special defense bulk, or you could use Dual Screen Starmie to support it. So I do think Type Null does have a role on this team, but like I just couldn't get it to work that well. I don't know, like every time I try to bring Type Null, trying to mix it up for you guys, I just got crushed. And you already know PokeTubers don't post losses. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. There's the team if you want to try it out yourself. And the question of the day for this video is going to be, with the Crown Tundra coming out literally like tomorrow or like the next day, depending on when I get this video out, which legendary Pokemon are you least looking forward to facing? For me, it is Tornadus. A lot of people are like, Lando, oh my god, Lando, oh fuck Lando. But no, Tornadus is gonna be way more broken than Lando and VGC. I'm telling you guys right now, Prankster Tailwind is just super toxic this generation with the new speed mechanics. You just Tailwind and then like your ally Pokemon gets double speed for free before like the opponent can even like counterplay. It's not like you can like snatch away Tailwind like you could in Gen 7. Nope. No counterplay. Literally no counterplay. Court change. Haha. Like, no. Like, the counterplay is Trick Room or fake out the Tailwind slider, which only delays it by 1 turn. So, not a big fan of Prankster Tailwind. Tornadus on its own honestly, I don't really give a shit about Tornadus, but it's just Prankster Tailwind with like legendary stats is what I'm not looking forward to facing. Also, I guess I'll ask, which Pokemon are you looking forward to using the most in Crown Tundra? Because I figure people don't really want to think about which Pokemon they don't want to face. It's more so like, I'm so excited to use Metagross. I'm so excited to use this. The Pokemon I'm most excited to use is probably Galarian Articuno. Because Articuno is one of my favorite legendaries already, but it becoming a Psychic type. Psychic type is my favorite typing. I know Psychic Flying is a horrible typing in general, but maybe Galarian Articuno won't be a flop. It'll be fun to use. But yeah, that pretty much wraps it up. I do have a Discord server. I'll leave a link to that in the description if you're interested in joining that. And I do plan on streaming Crown Tundra when it releases, unless my anxiety is really bad, but hopefully I'll be able to stream for you guys. So look forward to a potential Crown Tundra stream if you guys are interested in that. But that will do it for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching till the end of the video. If you're watching to this point in the video, I really love and appreciate you. You the real ones. Be sure to comment saying that Incineroar is Papa, because he is my handsome Papa. But also, there's like no Incineroar in this video, so it'll prove to me that you've watched to this point in the video. So if you want to prove to me you're a loyal fan, leave that in the comments down below. But that will do it for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching till the end of the video. Hopefully I catch you guys at my Crown Tundra stream, but if not, I'll catch you guys in my next video.